When should your LLC become an S-Corp for tax purposes? An S-Corp election should not be made because someone online said it saves taxes. Rather, it should be made when the numbers, the bookkeeping, the payroll, and the compliance responsibilities support it. The practical way to analyze whether your LLC is ready for S-Corp status is as follows. An LLC is a legal structure, an S-Corp is a tax classification. They are not the same decision. An LLC decision is primarily based on separation, structure, protection, banking, and operations, while the S-Corp decision is primarily based on tax strategy, payroll, bookkeeping, reasonable compensation, compliance, and whether the tax savings are worth the extra responsibility. Here are the 6 signs that your LLC is ready to elect S-Corp status. There's consistent net profit. The owner is actively working in the business. The business can afford payroll. There is profit left after reasonable compensation. The S-Corp tax savings exceed the added costs. First, there is consistent net profit, not just revenue, profit. If money is coming in, but most of it is spent on expenses, debt, inventory, equipment, contractors, rent, or operating costs, then the S-Corp may not be the right move yet. Second, the owner is actively working in the business. If the owner provides services, manages operations, serves clients, handles sales, creates products, or runs the business, then the IRS requires that a reasonable salary is paid to the owner through payroll before any non-wage distributions are made. Third, the business can afford payroll. An S-Corp usually means that the owner cannot take all profits as owner draws or distributions. The business must be able to run payroll, withhold payroll taxes, pay payroll taxes, and file payroll tax returns. Fourth, there must be profit left after reasonable compensation is paid. This is one of the most important points. If the business only makes enough to pay a reasonable salary, then the S-Corp may provide little to no tax savings. The strategy becomes more serious when the business earns more than what would reasonably be paid to the owner for the services provided. Fourth, the books are clean. If you don't know the real net profit, if you cannot clearly separate owner draws from expenses, if there are unreconciled accounts, missing transactions, or the books are a mess, then you are not ready to make a clean S-Corp decision. You need reliable books to determine whether the S-Corp election makes sense. Sixth, the tax savings exceed the added cost. An S-Corp may create additional costs: payroll service, payroll tax filing, bookkeeping, a separate business tax return, reasonable compensation analysis, and compliance monitoring. If the tax savings are smaller than the added cost and administrative burden, then the election may not be worth it yet. So, before making the election, I would want to review several things: the annual net profit, the monthly cash flow, the owner's role in the business, whether the business is able to consistently support payroll, a reasonable salary range, condition of the books, the expected tax savings, and the additional compliance costs. If the business is barely profitable, if income is unstable, cash flow is tight, and the books are a mess, then the S-Corp election may be premature. However, if the profits are steady, if the books are clean, if the cash flow can support payroll, and there's profit left after reasonable compensation, then the S-Corp election may be a powerful tax planning tool. If the right S-Corp election is made, it may reduce tax exposure. If the wrong S-Corp election is made, it may create payroll problems, penalties, late filings, unnecessary costs, and cash flow pressure. So the goal is not to elect S-Corp status as early as possible. The goal is to elect S-Corp status at the point where the business is financially ready. So before filing Form 2553 and electing S-Corp status, have the numbers reviewed. I'm Maurice Wally, an enrolled agent federally authorized to represent taxpayers before the IRS, and I'm also the founder and principal advisor of Meridian Advisors Tax and Accounting. If you already have an LLC and want to know if now is the time to elect S-Corp tax treatment, text election to 954-406-9737 for a free 10-minute consultation. Thank you, and I look forward to hearing from you soon.